something happens where he has to kill a rival gang member, gets thrown in jail for 10 years. During this time, his son is born and starts following in his footsteps, starts joining the gang, stealing car stereos. The kid actually gets caught up and shot, and during this time he starts to realize that, the gang is probably not where he wants to go and follow his dad's footsteps. But the leader actually brings him back in, and the dad is released from prison, and he kind of confronts the gang leader, and it kind of goes off from there, and he has to make a decision whether he wants to pursue his son and be an actual father to his son, or join the gang. So yeah, that one's it's called South Central. I'm not sure if it's on Netflix. It might be on Hulu. But yeah, South Central came out in 1992, presented by Mr. Oliver Stone.
That's a great
Oliver Stone.
It's a great pick.
I love that movie, dude.
Oliver Stone's like one of the greatest directors.
Obviously, you've seen it. You've seen it before. Yeah. Cool. And then second one is Saving Mr. Banks. It's a Disney movie, kind of like it's basically a biopic about the author of Mary Poppins and her interactions with Walt Disney, played by Tom Hanks. And there's a lot. It's an all-star cast. It has Jason Schwartzman, this one dude from The Office. What's her name? Emma Thompson as Mrs. Travers, and it's just basically the behind the scenes of making the fucking Mary Poppins movies, going from the book to the actual movies, and it shows kind of like how she was and how difficult she was to work with as a person. She was a complete bitch in the beginning of the movie, but towards the end of the movie she does a 180 and warms up to Walt Disney. But it's pretty cool, it's pretty interesting, and that is like a comedy drama. 2013's Saving Mr. Banks was my second rec.
Nice.
And that's it, just 2 recs.
Nice recs, buddy. Oh, my turn to Owners.
Your turn.
I got 2 recs. I got my first one is 2012 Savages. It has a 51% on Rotten Tomatoes. This one's a very freaking crazy ride of a film when you go through a crazy love triangle, but of a girl who loves like an entrepreneur and like selling marijuana, or like, and he's like very yogaed out and like very humble dude, but like it's crazy because she also loves a guy who's militaried out, and their whole spiel is that they want to get into selling, they want to get deep like into selling like drugs and shit, like basically marijuana, and at the same time the drug cartel comes in and they want to get involved as well. Yeah. So it's just
they kidnap the girlfriend.
The girlfriend, yeah, they do keep and it just gets in a big fuckery that they get to spiles out of whack, and you go through this, and there's a lot of good actors. I mean, you got Salma Hayek, you got Benicio, that are the drug tail basically runners, yeah. And you got, I think, John Travolta's in it,
yeah. Who also wants to get in bed with them, yeah.
It's hilarious. This movie's just too much, but it only has a 51 on Rotten, so
I've always heard good things about that movie.
That's also
it's pretty nuts, dude.
By the director of your first movie,
South Central.
Yeah, it's Oliver Stone.
Oliver Stone.
Yeah,
Oliver Stone.
No way.
That's
Really?
also his movie. Yeah. I think that was his last movie that he did. Oh no, he did Snowden after that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Word.
And then I think my second rec for right now is The Whackness, 2008's The Whackness, and that has a 70% on Rotten, and it's a pretty freaking dope film. I thought it's set in the 90s, about a kid who's just in mad debt. He has no confidence. He tries to sell bud. He gets in himself in situations, and it's an exciting film to watch. Like, I don't know, like when I watched this, I've only watched it like once in my time, and then when I watched it, I was like, I always remember about this movie.
Yeah.
And it kind of reminds me of certain situations for myself and other people when I see this movie.
Isn't it with the dude from Josh and Drake?
Yeah, Josh Peck.
Yeah.
And Method Man's also in this movie, and one of the Olsen sisters in this movie as well, dude. It's a pretty good movie. Like, it's just pretty real sometimes. Like, it's a pretty good movie to watch. And those are my 2 recs for this episode.
Yeah. It's directed by one of my favorite directors,
Is it?
Levine.
Damn.
That 50-50.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's another one I want to see too. I mean, I think I've seen bits and pieces of it because the Method Man parts, but I haven't seen it all the way through. CJ,
Do you have anything for us?
Yeah, I'll just shout out 2 directors, which I like. The first one who's up for an Oscar right now is Alfonso Cuarón. If you've ever seen his movies, he did Children of Men, Prison of Azkaban, Gravity. He did Ichi Mama Tambien,
No way.
The Little Princess, Roma. Yeah, so he's like one of the greatest directors working right now. So
I heard Roma has been getting like huge buzz and nominations and awards and shit.
It's super good. And then the other director is Spike Jonze, who's also kind of underrated. He did Being John Malkovich, Her, and Adaptation.
And Where the Wild Things Are.
Yes, and Where the Wild Things. Yeah, so check out those.
He does a lot of music videos too.
Yeah, and he's a producer on all the Jackass stuff.
Oh, that's right.
He co-created it.
Mid-90s is loosely based on him.
Oh, really?
He was the dude filming that makes the video.
Okay.
That was based around him. You didn't know that?
No, I did not know that.
Oh,
I know he did a Limp Bizkit video. Just saying, dude.
But yeah.
Nice, good one.
Thank you.
I like that. So I wanted to also shout out a director, the late George A. Romero.
Yes.
For Night of the Living Dead.
Classic.
And then we'll go with Candyman with Mr. Tony Todd.
Jeez.
Awesome.
That movie. Don't get me started.
Very underrated.
Yes,
It is, man. I'm really happy that Jordan Peele and Monkey Paw Studios are getting involved with that and bringing that back from the dead because it's overlooked, it's overrated, and it's not
Underrated.
Yeah, I mean underrated. It's overrated. Underrated, and it's not talked about at all amongst people, even that are
weird.
horror fans. They don't really. They just kind of overlook it. I don't know because if it creeps them out, or they just think it's not worthy of a film,
Or they haven't seen it.
or they haven't seen it.
Well, now it's being re-released, but for a long time it was just really hard to get a hold of.
Yeah,
You know.
I remember just seeing it like on Showtime and HBO and Cinemax. You know, when back in back in my day.
That was a go-to for sure.
Yeah.
You know.
Especially during October, Halloween, that shit scared the fuck out of me.
Yeah. Don't utter his name.
Yeah, at all, dude. and just for the record, I'm allergic to bees, so that even scared me even more. Sitting on a toilet full of bees. No thanks.
Killer bee.
Killer bees, man. I'm sworn.
That moves us into our movie focus.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And now for the movie focus of the week.
All right, so this week we're talking about Baby Boy. It's from 2001. It's rated R. It runs at 2 hours and 11 minutes, and it's got a 71 on Rotten.
Nice.
Basically, the story is centered around Jody, a young African-American man who struggles with maintaining his own life while trying to be a good father figure for his son. Life in the hood isn't easy.
Did you write that yourself?
I did. It's written and directed by John Singleton, also known for Poetic Justice, Boys in the Hood, Four Brothers, the Shaft remake. He's also did work on the newish Snowfall show for FX and Empire for Fox.
Yes, yeah. I really busy. Empire. Everybody's done Empire now. Damn.
Well, you know,
You gotta jump in.
Reunited with the cookie, huh?
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
full circle.
They brought her down. They brought her up.
Whoop that trick.
Can't be doing that. Y'all gotta.
All right, so what did we think about this rewatch?
I think you should go first since it was your pick, or you want to go last, man? We're going to give you first pick.
Yeah.
If you want to go first or last.
I'll go first.
Okay.
Go first.
All right. I loved it. I think it holds up.
Okay.
Should I start with the good or the bad first?
I do. It's up to you. It's up to you.
You can do everything, dude.
No, what do you guys want to hear?
You should go good and bad,
Then
Yeah.
good,
Good
then the
and
bad?
bad?
Yeah.
Okay.
and then the ugly.
All right. I think it's very clever and it holds up now. I think it's still socially relevant. I love the huge kind of. It's a very. How do you say?
Do you think it holds up to truth? Is that what you mean? Like what could be going on right now?
No, I
Is that
mean
what
like
you
as
think?
far as like in how do you say like politics and social commentaries.
Social commentary.
It's
Yeah.
still an ongoing problem, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the film, I feel like the general census is what they talk about in the beginning. Where
Yeah.
the black man as we see him is kind of a product of his environment.
Yeah.
So
And
he's
adapted to it.
he's coming from this fatherless environment, trying to be a father, but he doesn't he doesn't know
He doesn't know what
he
it
doesn't
is.
know what to
That
do.
is, yeah.
You know, and so it's very deeply layered and you have to kind of dissect everything, but I really like that it doesn't just focus on him, that all of the female leads in this have just as
Strong roles.
fleshed out characters that are very interesting and deeply kind of layered as well.
Very complex. It's like a Inception. It's social Inception too.
Exactly. So I think he gets a lot of things right in this, especially because for a lot of these actors it was their debut roles. So there's a lot of strong acting and a lot of not so strong acting that you can kind of look past, I guess, because it's early 2000s. But we'll get into that after. But
Little segment.
But yeah, I think it's a solid 8 for me. The bad, if I had to talk about the bad, it would be the dream sequences aren't they don't sell you as they should, or they just seem dated in a weird way. Like it's not. They don't try hard enough to be like, oh, I had no idea that was a dream sequence.
Or like they could have made it seem like deja vu, but nothing made it feel that real. It's like, oh, that happened.
The effects they use and stuff, it just seems kind of silly. At least watching it now, it's like, well, those could have been cut out and it would have been fine.
Like the whole embryo going to life to death and then seeing him at his funeral and then her
like those cuts and stuff, weird.
Also, I feel like it was a bit heavy-handed too, because with the circumstances going on in the dialogue too, you didn't really need the dream sequences to like sell it.
I felt like maybe he wanted to throw that in there as fast and as hard and as many times as he could, because it's being showed at least three times throughout the whole movie. And I don't know, maybe I felt like he wanted to bring that message of this is why they feel this way, or this is why the character Jody is having these subconscious dreams of him still being a boy, a fetus. He's an embryo basically.
He's still learning.
While he's dying, feel like he's being born as a full-grown man.
Well, those are written in there throughout the film all the way up to the end as a plot device, but I just think as far as the way that they were shot, they could have been better. The embryo thing is fine. I think that's really cool and unique. That's a great way of opening the film. I love that, but I don't like the one where he sees himself shooting himself or weird stuff like that.
The cop car scene.
Where I understand where they were going, but I just don't think that it holds up against where we're at, like in cinematically. I should.
I see what you're saying. It's a reflection of the time.
It's not so much that was written, just how they went about filming it, I guess, from a technical aspect. I don't like when artists throw in their songs to the film,
shit.
where they're rolling. He's rolling around listening to himself and featuring Snoop Dogg.
That's what I thought it was. I thought that was a Tyrese song that they opened up the song with.
Yeah, I was like,
yeah, get out of here.
It just
was
feels
real cheesy.
It feels cheap.
egotistical kind of too.
Yeah.
A bit.
Now, my question is: do you think they knew what songs were going to be used, or do you think they
You
must
think so?
have? Right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like maybe it was thrown in after.
It could be
post